Spoilers ahead, fucknuts.
Their nightmare is you and I fighting together.
You must know you cannot win.
You're all here because there is nothing to return to. Dark days lie ahead of us all. We will teach you how to fight. That's impressive.
The Scargivers among them. Those this village holds most dear. I shall destroy them.
I have no choice but to fight.
The Scargiver herself. Are you truly prepared to allow this to continue in your name?
I'm sorry. I won't allow this place to die for me.
Rebel Moon. Fuck
damn
you.
Never thought this day would come, at least this soon.
I was hoping it would take longer. I was not looking forward to Rebel
Seems like
Moon
just
Part 2.
yesterday we were watching this first piece of shit that literally almost drove us insane, and now we're on to part 2 of Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's Star Wars ripoff.
Lovely.
That Lucasfilm said, "No, Zach, we don't want to do that." So
Zach, don't
Netflix
do
was like,
that.
"Oh, we'll give you $300 million." How many do you want to make? You want to make 5 movies? You want to do like a James Cameron thing, like with Avatar? Yeah, sure. All right, sounds good to us.
You know, fuck you, Netflix. You brought this hell upon us.
No, actually, let's do a regular theatrical cut and a Snyder cut too.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, we're not watching those ones.
No.
Well, this one's called the Scargiver pose, and
Dude, that's barely brought. That's such a fucking name for that. Something.
I
So
guess it was called this from what I assume because of the main villain in the last one.
He got a little scar in his chest. And he just brings it up once, just like, "You gave me this. You did this. You gave me this hickey on my nipple."
You thought he might have they teased that he might have died in the last one, but then they had a post credits that was like, "Nope, he's not dead."
Big reveal. Yeah, he's not dead.
He's in some like Dune thing, like Baron Harkonnen, like getting revived, basically.
Yeah. Remember, it was like. Remember, we ended up when he was communicating with the Emperor, and he was like in a giant, like fucking fetus womb type of thing. And then now when we see him again, he's in fucking Spider-Man's jizz, fucking stain on the fucking floor.
Like Tobey Maguire, just fucking.
Just busted nut all over him, and he's just been stewing in that shit for days.
That is what it looked like, and it was funny too because it was like literally him like crusted in this shit, and then it just zooms out and it goes Rebel Moon, the Scargiver. Like it was some epic intro.
Yeah, he was even T-posing. He was T-posing in the fucking web goo, and then it's just like
Zach was just like, "There's some awesome imagery here."
There's no imagery. No, Zach. It's so deep. So deep. No, Zach, it's not D.
Honestly, dude, like I couldn't even tell you what the fuck was happening in this movie half the time. Especially when we got to like the point where they were like, "Let's go into all the characters' flashbacks." And
Oh,
then
yeah,
they
this
did,
was
like
the
6
flashback
flashbacks
movie.
in a row.
Well, hold on. We gotta get there first. Remember, before that, we had the wheat the whole wheat
the
slow mo.
wheat montage took up like 30 minutes, like a whole like a quarter of the movie.
It
if
felt
not
like
more
it
than
sometimes.
that.
It felt like it. We had a.
It may have been a third of the movie, honestly.
I'll be generous and say a fourth, but holy fuck, it felt
It's
like
somewhere
forever.
between the two, I would say. It's like 40% of the movie.
It's basically 15 minutes or more or so of the movie is just a slow mo montage of them harvesting wheat.
Mm-hmm.
No interaction really. It's just them harvesting wheat.
And it's
These
this whole bonding
fucking-
experience for them,
Oh,
where everyone ends up being like the closest of friends afterwards.
Yeah, they're like somehow find the time to make each person a quilt or like a little blanket to represent or their or flag whatever
Everyone's
representing.
crying and shit. You're like, why are people crying?
It's like
I don't know.
For you, Titus, here's the mountain blanket because you are my mountain. And then they're just like getting so stupid symbolic about stuff. I'm like, you guys are in a rush about wheat. You fucking make quilts for it, these like little quilt things for your heroes,
Yeah.
your champions. It's funny because they were harvesting wheat after they were just talking about we need to train everyone to get ready. We have 5 days. We have 5 days, but let's waste a whole.
They're gonna
day just
attack us, guys, when they
harvesting
get
it.
here. All right. Well, let's harvest the wheat for them still. But then if they do attack us, they'll be able to kill us all and then just steal all the wheat that we harvested for them and did all the work already for.
They even picked a shitty place to do it. To be like,
It seemed like there was a lot of plot holes or just
There's
like
too
errors
many
in
plot holes.
errors of logic,
like
in
all right,
this movie.
So their idea was to get the wheat, and also like they spent like a single day training everyone, and everyone's apparently a fucking master at firearms in one day, but then after all that, they get the wheat. They stack it on each of the buildings because their idea is like they won't blow up the grain, because granted, in any other situation, you could orbital bombard them from space from the sky, and they couldn't retaliate.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, here's grain. 'cause
Actually
they
happens
really,
at one point in the movie, pretty much.
They really want the grain that was harvested by 50 fucking people in this town.
Until they don't.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Hold on, we'll get to that. That's another bullshit thing. That's another.
I just feel like these movies are pointless in the end. Like by the point we get to the end of this,
it's like the whole movie was written by AI.
Yeah.
And there's so many. It takes generic plot. Like it takes I forget what's the classic trope of heroes from outside land training the villagers to fight back against the bandits or the empire in this case.
And we called like every thing that they were gonna do
it's a
that,
generic
like a
trope.
cliche.
Like it's a generic trope. It works well with other movies. Like
Every movie kind of does it.
What was it? Was it Seven Samurai or something like that? It was like a samurai. I know originally it was in a samurai movie they did that trope and it was really good. And then they do in a lot of westerns, which work
There's
out
certain
well in
story
westerns,
beats you're
but
gonna
not
there's certain story beats you're gonna hit in a lot of different things, especially if it's sci-fi or whatever it is. But they do it horribly here.
Yeah, they do. It's so bad.
The first one was them introducing character after character after character
With no backstory.
with no backstory and no banter between any of the characters that was significant or had emotional weight or anything.
Yeah.
And the second one, it's almost like they act like they're best friends now and they went on this crazy journey together and they're all the best group of friends.
They act like they've already went through
when some of them have only known each other for
emotional-
a day or two.
Especially with the villagers and the hero, because it's just so rushed and annoyingly rushed. It's okay. So, like I said, remember my plot, the whole weed idea and blah blah. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But then you find out too they have a cave that's behind a waterfall that's hidden that they apparently don't know this or know until later, or not even later. They never even figure out what's there. But anyway, I'm like, so for someone who likes the strategy stuff, and as you found out later in the thing, I said, why don't they get all the wheat, put it in the mountain with them? They'll have one way in. it might be a one way out, but granted, they're kind of settling on a last man stand, so
Yeah.
they could booby trap the entrance, just have wave after wave while holding out in a very fortified area.
Yeah, exactly. It would only make sense, and I guess some people would just say like, well, that's a movie thing or a TV show thing, and it is, but they do it way too much in this in just really, really dumb ways.
They really banked on the fact that those guys really wanted the grain that badly, which apparently they didn't in the end. But
you know what else pissed me off in this? How fucking you waste a great talent like Anthony Hopkins
on a robot that's barely in it.
On a robot that just sat and fucking jacked off to these fucking.
It's like,
I'm just gonna sit here and watch, and
you just get one emotional.
They're having a whole war down there, and I'm like this wicked OP robot that literally if I get shot, I don't even take damage.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna run down there last minute and help everyone.
Okay. So like we get one emotional moment with the robot where he's talking to the general
Cora.
Cora, about like he's like I'm basically their weapon, blah blah, and she's like, well, what do we do? Well, what do we do? And he's like, you don't win. And he just runs off acting like he can just hide from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back toward, like, when they're in the middle of getting their asses whooped by wave after wave of them. But that's, like, once again later.
Yeah.
But he just comes in fucking wrecking shit, and he's, like, getting shot all the fuck up. But this motherfucker has armor. And when I say armor, I mean plot armor. His fucking...
Oh, yeah, he does.
His metal hide can take, like, all these shots like a fucking champ. Like, it doesn't do anything.
And it's almost like... It's stupid,
but that's way
too,
later.
It's kind of stupid, too, because I feel like it's potential for kind of an actual cool character in this universe, and he's so underutilized that he almost becomes a stupid character. You're like,
yeah,
wow, you should have helped out more, bud.
They turned the robot too, like, into essentially one of those, the trope of robot in nature, because he's like dressed up like he's wearing like the antlers for some reason, flower, like in like the naturey garb, like he's one with nature, even though he's a robot. But you never really figure out how or why he does what led to that, other than just the fact that he ran off after saving that chick in the first one who was about to get raped.
Yeah,
in the thing.
Literally, right?
Yeah, that's literally. They had that scene. But he just, after he shoots the guy that was about to be a fucking asshole, or the rapist, and he just runs off into the fucking woods, and then you don't see him until the end of that first movie, where he just suddenly appears wearing a fucking flowers and
wonder
fucking
how those
antlers.
scenes are going to be handled in the Snyder cut versions.
I swear, no, let's not.
Because they said they're going to be R and stuff, so it's like, is that the sort of stuff we're going to get expanded on? Like, Zach, I don't want to see an expanded rape scene.
I was about to. What if that is that shit?
It's in slow-mo, too. Like, Jesus Christ, Zach.
Dude,
there was some weird stuff in this movie. Like, remember we were talking about that the lightsaber chick?
Yeah.
How like she had like almost like this relationship with
the little boy. It just seems so.
And they kept like just staring at each other and stuff. It was almost like that Ghostbusters like. It was almost like that new Ghostbusters movie with the ghost chick and Egon's grandkid or whatever.
Oh, Phoebe, I think it is. Yeah.
You're like, why are you staring at each other? Is this like a love interest? Like, what are you doing here? Like,
they had the weirdest fucking like. Oh, you're supposed to care about these two. They're totally.
But they had no conversation. I don't think they ever really said words.
No, they didn't say
a
single word to each other.
It was just like all a relationship, like through their facial.
It starts off with like the
actions.
little boy staring at her like it was his crush or some shit like that, and then later where he tries to tickle her nose with a fucking thing of wheat, and then she just grabs it, and he's like, "Ooh," playfully, and then it cuts to the.
That was just bizarre. I don't know. Like it was just like, why is this here?
And then to the part where he ends up trying to save her, basically.
This had no emotional weight.
They had a weird, and it had like a weird. As if it was supposed to be a big emotional moment, like you were supposed to invest in. I'm like, what? It's really.
What are we supposed? I'm like, what are we supposed to be feeling here?
Yeah, and the lean in too. I'm like, Zach, we barely know what the fuck they. And then the little boys are leaning. I'm like, please don't kiss. I swear to God, Zach, if
we're
you do
just
something
traumatized
weird.
from Star Wars Episode 9. Let's have cousins kiss.
It's the
Kylo and Rey.
It's like the Phantom Menace where Padme go like just didn't she like kiss little boy Anakin at one point?
Incest has always been in the Star Wars things.
That's not
just like Luke kissing Leia.
Directors got some weird kinks sometimes. It feels like, but. Wow,
especially
shocker! Hollywood being weird.
Sci-fi ones.
Hollywood being weird. Who would have thought? Anyway, but Anyway, so it's of course, obviously they hug. Thank God.
But they lingered on it for like a minute, like they didn't know what to do. It was
just,
what the hell?
Maybe that was just Zack doing slow-mo at the wrong moment, and to the point where it made it weird. It's
Audience
like
is like, what the fuck?
Let's add slow-mo. Actually, it was slow-mo. I believe it was in this.
Yeah, I think parts of it were.
Dude, there was so much. There was like so
once
much of this
again,
movie
so
is
much slow-mo.
Slow-mo.
I bet there was about at least 30 points where we were like, oh, slow-mo.
Slow-mo.
We were like, let's call it out every time we see it.
It's that scene where you just point out, oh, there it is, slow-mo.
Like Rick Dalton.
Yeah, it's just like.
But could you explain to me the plot of this? Because I was just so lost.
All right, so basically the idea heroes from the first movie come up. Everyone's like, oh, okay, they're gonna lead us to victory.
I feel like it was almost so simple but so convoluted at the same time.
Yeah, what? Like I said, they banked on the weed idea, which was stupid and weird, and they trained everyone in a single day. Let's see. Big war starts. For some reason, the admiral goes down there in person, just with his fucking crew. I'm like, of like only 50 soldiers. Only in 50. That was just in the beginning, and apparently
they just kept coming. Like,
they just kept coming in waves.
They were spawning in.
Yeah. They were like getting dropped off like far away from the village conveniently, and then just somehow by the time they just come in annoying waves, like it's a video game, and they're just going at it, and you're like, there's like characters that like just hide away for most of the beginning part, and then just show up like. Oh, here's two more characters that show up in the midway through the battle.
Yeah, and then they'll die or something too, and you're like, "Who was this character?"
Dude,
like
I was
fucking Hugh Jackman Wolverine lookalike.
The guy who looked like Hugh Jackman, who was actually like who looked like a basic villager, just going up against the fucking admiral.
Fucking white beater though.
Yeah, he had like the fucking beard chop kind of look to him too.
All he needed was dog tags.
Oh. Dude, I'm like, why am I rooting for this over all the heroes right now? This guy's fucking he's actually putting up a fight, and then just the admiral, of course, gets him like later. But anyway, or just gets him on the ship after. This guy also blew up a ship. He was like ambushing him from underground because they have underground tunnels that were like they're going Vietnam style.
They're going Rambo style.
Yeah. Which they also really sucked at because apparently instead of just blowing up the ships, like having they only had one. I think they only had one rocket launcher they were sharing amongst.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right. Because then we were like, why didn't they just shoot another one? Like they probably could have taken out so many more.
And they didn't even just keep it up. They didn't just like fucking shock and awe it. They just kept like they shot one missile, then was like, oh okay, wearing down. We'll shoot. We'll wait until we fire the next missile.
We only have like 3 missiles, guys. We got to use these wisely.
Maybe that was it. Maybe they were just didn't have enough ammo or something.
I could see it.
Yeah, but then they're about to go and shoot it again at a fucking bad moment that would not have worked. Like if they shot that second thing, they could have kept the admiral there, probably get his ass rocked. But no, they didn't do that.
Was this the guy that was like Wolverine, Stuart Martin or whatever, right there?
Let me see. It kind of looks like him.
When was that character in the movie besides the scene he literally died in? I don't remember him like even
maybe
being in it.
Maybe he was just part
like
of the welcoming party
scene or something.
I think he was maybe in the welcoming scene, and that's it. Other than that, maybe he's
we
like
didn't get a flashback with him though.
He's supposedly maybe one of the leaders, but you never see anything. He has no flashback or anything. It's just that guy who's there standing, and I guess he's
so bizarre.
He might be a big deal.
He died, and then they try to make it like it was a big death. Like
yeah, he's just fucking.
Like, who is this? Like, looks like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Just makes me more excited for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Why is this guy? Why do I care about this guy more than I? Oh yeah, they also flank them, I guess, because maybe they weren't anticipating that from the seams of it. I guess they had that lightsaber chick protecting the elderly and the young, the kids, but they're like the admiral's like, yeah, I flanked them. Hey, unless you want them wiped out, you better surrender. Remember that shit they were trying to do? Like, you surrender to me, come with my ship, by yourself, and I'll not fuck up the rest of the villagers. Yeah. And then she's, like, about to go until, like, the guy that... Oh, the weird rushed romance, too. The guy that was from the first movie that she barely has any connection to. Or
Oh my god!
I guess it was hinted he
They
liked
just did
her.
that right at the beginning of this movie too.
It was hinted that he likes her, but she showed like no interest in the first movie towards him
Oh,
originally.
not at all.
Like you saw him he wanted to get laid. She
Yeah.
didn't show any of it, like evidence.
You know what I feel
they
like he did? He was like,
after.
man, this character really has no purpose in the movie if I don't do this.
You say that as he's also the guy who literally helped kill the admiral, like actually saving the chick, and
did.
later in
I
the
think he was
thing.
just supposed to be like a Han Solo, like sort of rip off, like kind of person, and I was like,
kind of felt like
it's like Dollar Tree Han Solo, basically.
Even though he's also the guy that got that he's the one that got the whole village kind of in trouble because he wanted to actually work with he thought they could work with the Imperials for money, but even though the original elder did not want to,
Yeah.
the original elder got killed because of this dumbass's decisions. But
What did you think of like the direction and like the CGI and stuff like that here?
it kind of looked shitty to me at
Yeah.
times. There were like moments where it just looked like it was a video game or like one of those
like Helldivers, but like actually a little worse.
actually worse than Helldiver
Yeah.
graphics at times, or like
It's like it looks like a video game, but actually a little worse than some of the
like
newest
specifically the
ones.
space scenes where you see like the spaceship in the atmosphere, like outside the atmosphere or something like that, approaching the planet, and it
I
looks
feel like it wasn't that
it looks like one of those shitty 3D movies that
I feel like
you
it
would
wasn't
see.
that it was really bad. I feel like it was just like very like standard. Like it was at like a 5 or something.
Yeah,
out of
it
10,
was-
you know.
It didn't have really any character. It felt like essentially the yellow submarine approaching her. The ship designs were really weird and felt like knockoff fucking Star Wars
Knockoff.
ships.
Yeah,
at
yeah. Like
times.
we
Remember
said
we were
in the
making
first review, Dollar Tree fucking Star
Like-
Wars ships and everything.
The drop ships that like were dropping off the soldiers literally looked like the kind of like a altered version of the Star Wars Clone Wars spaceships when the clones came in. To
Oh
save
yeah,
the
they have one that
Geonosis,
looks just like that.
as well as the other Clone Wars fucking series and shit like that. But it looked like discount versions of those in a way.
It's like Zack Snyder basically did what that Power World video game did and was like, get as close as we legally can to looking like it.
Fucking pulled a pout. Power that at least made a good game.
True. And it was on Game Pass for free. We didn't have to get Netflix to watch it.
True. But there's some like also like anyway they use I guess her old ship that she had or like from things and made it look like a damaged
Was
ship
that
of
already
theirs.
on the
This-
planet or something still?
Yeah, she already had that.
How did they not fucking realize that was her old ship or something?
Kleebox.
I don't
But,
know. There's so many plot holes in this.
Yeah, and then they made it look damaged. They put a smoke grenade to make it look like he's smoking, so it goes into
That was
repair
stupid, too.
hanger.
That was really dumb.
They took the soldiers and then they fucking just infiltrated, planted bombs around the
Stick the
typical.
smoke grenade. They're gonna think the vehicle's going down.
They
That would
implemented.
not work like that.
Yeah, they pretended to be wounded soldiers, got in, but snuck on, started going on a killing spree, essentially. Planted the bomb so they can blow up the ship. Let's see. Admiral is about to make a decision. Hey, once they find out she's on the ship, he's like, okay, she's on the ship. Blow up the whole village anyway. Then the other guy's like, wait a minute, hold on. What about the grain that we literally sent all these
This is
people?
the whole
to-"
point of this movie.
And he's like, fuck the grain. I just wanted to capture her and bring her to the Emperor or whatever.
It's like, what?
Oh yeah, fuck. We forgot to talk about the stupid backstory with the Emperor and like how apparently she was part of a Caesar moment where
One of the flashbacks of the 6 that they did.
yeah,
in a
the
row.
main chick Cora. Remember
for-
she was like, or it was remember she was telling her telling the
Oh,
guy
because her
that
one
she
got
just fucked
told
about
first,
the backstory.
right? Because then her backstory get told first, and then later on at the camp,
Yeah, and then
it was the rest of them.
Yeah, but she was telling the guy after she banged him after like talked to him for
While
a
she
few
was
minutes.
feeling up his nipples.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's like, Zack.
Zack's got some kinks, man. Like especially after the first one, the admiral fucking the
Oh, that
tentacle
was
alien.
bizarre.
Anyway, but she goes over her backstory. She was part of this plot to kill the original king of the empire, who
That was
looks
a
like an
stupid
actual
ass,
like
that was
medieval
a stupid
king.
ass scene too.
It's kind of funny seeing him look like a medieval king. The other like generals and stuff around him are wearing togas while also wearing
Dude.
like what looks like a combination of SS and communist commissar
You
fucking
just made me
outfits.
remember, like, didn't she kill that kid? And it was like
Oh yeah, the king's
heaven
the
or
king's
something, whatever the fuck
she just
that was.
I think I forget if it's like she was like it's because she was the perfect human bloodline.
That was bizarre. I was just like, Zach, what are you smoking?
It was
right now?
It was the old king's daughter. After like they already stabbed the old king, they were like literally Caesaring him with the knives. They used regular like fucking knives, but they stabbed the shit out of the family. And they had her. Cora is supposed to kill the daughter, and she's hesitant because it's a little girl. And then the other guy's yelling at her.
Not hesitant enough to fucking not do it.
Don't forget. The other guy's yelling at her to essentially shoot her or finish the job, and she shoots anyway. And then the guy fucking just blames everything on her, and she's like, "She's the traitor."
That's what I'm saying. That was like the dumbest scene.
After
You're
he's
just
the
like,
one who
what?
killed the king.
Like, and everyone there just started joining him.
Yeah, everyone
too.
just went with it. Everyone just went with the fucking let's just blame her for killing the king. And all this other bullshit. I'm like, it was so stupidly planned. I'm like, that's why I felt like an AI fucking wrote
Yeah,
this.
like at that part, he just added into the after it came out with the prompt, he was like, add in like a twist in there. Like,
let's just say she actually did do it, and she actually did kill like the royal daughter, even with the other guy shouting at her to do it. But then the other guy anyway just kills the king and then decides to call her the traitor, and just says it was her fault or something stupid. It was fucking
it was stupid.
So dumb.
It was kind of that generic thing that we've seen other things do too. Like we talked about a beat, we've seen other things like a video game like Dishonored. Like that's what happens to Dishonored. Like they blame you for killing the queen or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a similar trope we've seen things.
That
it's
one
just
makes
done
more sense.
It's just done horribly here, you know?
Yeah, that Dishonored made sense because no one. It's not like the royal guard didn't see this.
That too, like it actually made sense within the logic of how they set it up.
It was actually well framed. This one they just
not well framed.
They did the whole thing themselves and then just decided let's blame it just on her for no reason. Yeah. She was literally on their side the whole time. Basically, even though she was hesitant about killing the kid, but she was with him the whole rest of the time.
I think the biggest problem
and then
he
they
has
decide
is
just
like
to scapegoat her.
He's a writer on some of these things, not the only one, but I think he needs to like maybe come up with like the base of the story, and then let someone else write it. You know, like the framework of the story. But he cannot write characters.
No, he cannot. He cannot even.
And he can't frame situations in a way where like. When he tries to make it cinematic, that's when people laugh at it most. Dude. Like in Batman versus Superman, how everyone shits on that Martha scene. Like,
yeah, no shit.
He thought that was genius, and everyone just has laughed at DC for years now because of that.
Fucking giggling their ass.
So I don't know. He needs to stay away from writing these things, dude, at least in that to that degree.
I can't believe he just turned into a literal Caesar moment. Like. Yeah, like he literally made a literal Caesar moment just in space of just stabbing the shit out of the king with the knife, with a bunch of knives, a bunch of them, all of them doing it. Not even just one guy.
It's just a shame because I feel like he's not like a bad director. I just feel like he like in some of these movies he just plays on his worst tendencies.
Stop giving him credit.
Yeah. No. I'm saying like he just goes, I'm gonna do slow mo more with this one or whatever, but. I guess this kind of will lead into me with my pluses because I do have one plus about this.
It was shorter.
It was an hour, I think, shorter than the last one.
Yeah.
It was only an hour and 50 minutes, which I don't think there's been a Zack Snyder movie in a while that's been less than 2 hours.
Well, this is before the next Snyder cut. Snyder cut.
Great.
Dude, I like how also we forgot to mention he was gonna blow up the whole village. Yes, he was already gonna, and then they blew up the ship before it does. They kill the Admiral douchebag, who's been very. He's basically just a villain who's evil for evil's sake. It's one of those generic things, as I was telling you before.
Of course,
they show the Empire, especially with all the flashbacks.
Generic is this movie's bread and butter.
Like they're just evil for evil's sake. It feels like there's not even too much reasoning behind their evil. It's like I was saying, like the Empire in Star Wars. You can see how people would side with them at times, where they offer security, benefits like that, and they just like as long as you work.
They just
for us,
made them
whatever.
flat out evil, one-dimensional bad guys.
Yeah, these guys literally are wasting so much resources and just so many people just to wipe.
You know what's bad
when
the generic one-dimensional characters from like old 80s cartoons probably have more personality than some of these villains here.
Yeah, no
like
kidding.
Skeletor from like Masters of the Universe or something.
Yeah, like they made the Admiral literally just absolute psychopath.
Yeah.
Or, like, Not
Just
even
that
a cool
generic-
sacrifice.
That generic
It's-
psychopath, you know, and not even played like very well here. Not that he's played badly here, but he's not played in any sort of way where you're like, wow, this is a great performance.
Wow,
or
great
anything
villain.
Like that.
He's not. It doesn't also help that he has the stupidest haircut I've seen on this man.
That's another point I'm glad you brought up. Haircuts itself in this movie, because even Cora had a dumbass haircut eventually in the end of this movie.
Well, what was it? I said she was sporting the John Bernthal from Fury haircut,
And then
when
the
she
villain,
cuts her hair.
it's like a battle of haircuts at the end of this movie, which that big set piece of them like, I think now that I'm looking at the poster, I think is inspired by that end scene. Because remember they're like at the slant and they're sliding down, like they're sliding down, which was the dumbest scene. Like I feel like in his mind he was like, this is an amazing action scene, and it could have maybe been kind of a cool action scene, but like you would have to use gravity effectively in that scene for it to be cool, and it is just ridiculous. And then there's slow-mo in it and stuff too, and it's just such a dumb scene.
When the whole battleship's going down doing this thing, for some reason it reminded me of what was that the second of the sequel movies of Star Wars. Remember when
Last Jedi?
After Holden like rams the ship into the Empire and the whole
Attack
ship's
of the Clones?
What?
Attack of the Clones?
No, was that the sequel
prequels
movies?
or
No,
the-
sequels. The sequels. The
Last
Disney
Jedi,
one.
like I said.
Is it the Last Jedi? Probably
Yeah,
is.
the
Jedi.
new
That
one?
was the second. That was the second one of those sequels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
The one where Luke is fucking
drinking
Yeah.
blue titty milk. Yes. But
the easiest way to describe it, I guess.
yes. But basically, you know how the ship in that one was like basically getting like after it was destroyed, it was like slowly falling apart, leaving our heroes just enough time to escape.
Yeah.
That's what this one felt like there the whole time, where it doesn't even make sense why it's doing
I
that,
know,
the shit.
right?
Oh, I forgot the weirdest thing I kept.
I feel like in Star Wars or these things, half the time you see the ships get hit and they instantly just blow up, and it's like, why?
Unless
is
it's
this...
convenient.
Yeah, it's like, okay, there's main characters in this one, so this one has to. It's blowing up, but it hasn't fully blown up yet, and they're falling down it and somehow aren't dead yet.
But the funniest thing to me is the fact that they made all their ships coal powered. Even their tanks are like coal powered.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. You're seeing like those people shoveling coal into the furnaces as like it's powering the fucking
There's just black
the ship.
smoke emanating out of their ships when
out
they
the
enter
tanks
the planet.
too,
Oh, we're
the
gonna fuck up your planet's ecosystem.
I'm like, why is the future fucking? Why is there coal powering your spaceships? Was this a train? We got past this shit years ago, man.
Why?
Why are your lasers powered by something that's not coal, and they have like infinite energy and power from the looks of it, as the people are just shooting endlessly at each other with these laser pistols, but your fucking spaceship's powered by fucking people shoveling coal into furnaces.
Explain that, Zach.
Fucking Zack. This doesn't make sense to me. You're like the drop ships weren't even powered by coal, but the other the tanks were. Why?
It's not consistent.
It doesn't make sense.
When you create a sci-fi universe like this, you can make your own set of rules. You don't always have to follow the other rules, but the rules have to make sense.
It's like steampunk met sci-fi, but Snyder doesn't know where to put the steampunk.
I know. He's like, I guess there's a wheel in this thing. As like a
Zach, this movie has not at all shown steampunk elements.
Steampunk.
Why
That's
is this the one?
steampunky?
Steampunk, coal-powered fucking.
Wasn't that other movie he did like Sucker Punch, like a steampunk-ish kind of one?
I wouldn't call that steampunk.
I thought like that's what someone said. It's like steampunk
Well,
mixed with
there's-
something else.
There's like steampunk element, but granted, the whole thing takes place in this girl's mind in Sucker Punch. It's weird. She's basically schizophrenic in an orphanage. But anyway, that's another movie.
He just likes doing fucking, I guess, sci-fi mixed with that.
But that's, first of all, that only makes sense because that's like in the mind of someone who's imagining everything. in
Sci-fi
Sucker
mixed with
Punch.
steampunk.
She doesn't know how these things work. She just does it in her mind in Sucker Punch because it's cool. But in this, it's a sci-fi world. It's a legitimate, supposed to be a fucking sci-fi world you're supposed to take seriously. You don't take Sucker Punch was because it's in the mind of this person who doesn't really know anything but looks cool to her.
Interesting.
This is just stupid. This doesn't make sense.
I've heard that movie's horrible too.
It's not good either.
Yeah.
But
So where would this rank to you on the Zack Snyder? Would you think this was better than the last one? Like if in any sort of way?
it's only better because it's shorter half the time than me. And I guess it's brighter because I think the first movie felt like everything was either super dark or just fucking like just unless you were on that the desert planet where they found the other guy. I forget his name. That's another thing, you don't really remember anyone's name. The only other persons you only know them by like certain characteristics of them. Like
the only one I knew were Cora, Titus. I don't know what the villain's name is. I think that's it.
I just call him the Admiral. I forget the Admiral's actual name too.
But yeah,
Anthony Hopkins robot.
Yeah, Anthony Hotbot. But the cast is totally wasted here. Like any sort of good talent they had, like Anthony Hopkins or even Digimon Hansao, the guy that's in Guardians of the Galaxy,
yeah,
and stuff like that. He's a great actor, but just wasted here, and they just have him crying at just stupid parts that don't even make sense.
Who? That was a Guardians
Star-Lord?
Who? No, come on, man. But yeah, no, you're right. It's just I feel like it's terrible writing. They for some reason have the actors doing things that don't make sense. Terrible story. The story don't make. It's everything. Nothing really made sense, and it hurts. It hurts me.
I know.
How dumb so much of this plot. After the ship goes, what happens after the ship goes down?
They have like a funeral thing.
Yeah,
right?
the funeral.
And then it ends. Thank God.
I guess she also at some point tried to make an emotional like I lied to you. Oh yeah, we forgot Star Wars. Fucking the chick with the lightsabers dies.
Yep.
We said Wolverine knockoff died, but I'm not even sure if he was supposed to be a main character. He just died like a main character, like he was an important character.
No, I think he had been in a couple of scenes, so he was totally. And then the Snyder cut, he's probably gonna get even more scenes. Like in the Snyder cut, it'll make sense, guys.
The dude that chick was that Cora was having sex with was also killed, or the guy. He died. Everyone else I think lived of the main cast of the important cast. I don't know, but yeah, they have that.
Kind of like a lot of these things. I mean, this is gonna sound stupid, and I did say it though earlier. For anyone wondering if it's like a sequel, it really is more like a part 2. Like a lot of these things.
Oh yeah, it like continues where it left off in the first movie.
Exactly.
It does absolutely do that.
So it has this feeling like once you get like 5-10 minutes into it, like you're like, okay, this is pretty much literally like continuing. Right from where we were.
Zack just wants to make an 8-hour movie, but he had to break it up into 3.
For some reason, it did that, but then at the start, he did like a Blade Runner, like back in the day for the theatrical cut when they were like, the studios were like, it's too confusing. We need to have Deckard do a monologue at the beginning and have some exposition.
Yeah, that the narrator that pops out.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's. I just thought that was so stupid. It's like
recap.
I couldn't even tell you what they said in the recap. Like it kind of recapped the first movie very shittily too.
It's a spark noted fucking version, like summary will have in the first movie, which
nothing really happened in the first movie. So I think that's why he really had nothing to say.
It's like just saying, this village is getting fucked over by the Empire. Cora goes and assembles a team of Avengers. They come back and meet up.
No, because what you're saying right now, is actually a better explanation of.
I know it is.
It did a shit job.
It was really dumb. It was so fucking dumb.
But then it went right into just being like, it was a part 2, not even a sequel, and it was just like a continuation of the first movie. It was like, why did we even have that at the beginning? Like, should have just jumped right into it.
Yeah.
It's like he thought that would have been too weird, but yeah, so I think Pose, you can determine we did not like this movie, and
neither should you. You deserve better. We deserve
better. If you're paying for Netflix, we deserve better.
Yeah.
This was not a good gift for 420.
Just watch Fallout. Just watch the Fallout series on Amazon, please.
We liked that.
That was good.
That was great. And if you were looking for something to watch on 420, is definitely a good thing to watch while fried.
No, you're just gonna be more confused than you already are.
For Fallout?
Oh no, I thought you meant for this.
Oh, no,
for Rebel.
Yeah, don't watch this fried. You'll just get a headache like I did.
Yeah, Fallout's much better one to watch instead. Oh lordy.
But But yeah, it's looking like a lot of critics are and users are feeling the same way. Where this has
Oh, thank God.
3.6
Yeah, that's about right.
user score or critic score.
Wait, out of 10 or 5?
Out of 10.
Okay,
And
good.
then a 5 and then a 5.2 out of 10 for the user score.
Yeah.
So that's a bit higher. I don't even know how it's that high, but it's gonna go down. I imagine that's probably the Snyder, all those diehard Snyder fans.
Oh, dude,
That's
guys,
probably them kind of
guys, please
making
stop.
it what it is. Even
Stop being such big fanboys for fucking people. If they make a shitty movie, just acknowledge it's a shitty movie.
exactly. Or if the Snyder cuts are good, but these are shit, acknowledge that these are shit, and the Snyder ones are a little bit better.
Yeah, but we
they're
haven't
still
even
not
gotten-
even that great.
We haven't even
gotten
gotten a Snyder cut yet of this.
Exactly. We don't know. I think it's still gonna be terrible. This movie has too many problems
I agree.
that I don't even think adding more to it could fix. I think it would actually hurt it.
Ugh,
It would just make me hate it even more. But
yeah,
we'll never know because I'm not watching that.
I ain't watching that.
If there's a Rebel Moon 3 or 4, we're gonna have to watch that. So I'm not watching any Snyder cuts.
God, nope. You guys definitely got to watch the Snyder cut. Someone said.
This is our like hottest fucking review yet.
I like.
Damn
what?
it! We gotta watch the Snyder cut.
Uh,
People are like, we love your misery.
guys, we like it when you suffer.
But how
Watch-
are we feeling? Like, are we in that range? Would you say you're below like 3.6, or would you say it's about in that area? Or
Out of 10, I would definitely say it's like a 3, basically. To me.
yeah, I
So-
think I'm even lower than what people are thinking.
Mm.
But so yeah, I think we're even below these expectations. We did not like this movie.
No.
And it is very rare I rate like a movie like a 3 or something, you know, or like a 3.5. It's it's like you said, we deserve better.
To be honest, the funniest thing is that maybe it's just because it's got some good. It has a few good action things.
I didn't think so.
I mean, like when I say good, I think it's
Because
the funniest.
he always
parts-
ruins those anything that had potential to be good.
Yeah.
Action scene with slow mo.
Dude, like like when I say good, I mean literally the only moments I had good action was when knockoff Hugh Jackman was in it. Just he was
True.
randomly oinking it
So
for
that
a
was like
little while.
1 minute.
He was literally fucking doing a fucking hell of a job for a while. I'm like, what the fuck? I barely know this guy.
We
and
got like
he's
a
just
minute.
going
We got like a
ham.
minute of good action with him. Maybe
Yeah.
like 90 seconds.
And then like the surprise from underground, the surprise attacks I kind of enjoyed.
oh yeah, that was kind of cool too. But
I mean
yeah.
that's it. That's
There's like maybe 2 minutes of cool
Yeah.
action scenes
It's-
when there's
the action
definitely
scenes-
more than 2 minutes of action in this.
as I would say, the best action scenes are when it's not the main characters on screen. It's always just the fucking the villagers fighting is
True.
actually where it's coolest, which is funny as fuck.
It
to
was
me.
interesting.
It's not. I wouldn't call it even interest. It's just that was like the only times you're like, oh shit, some cool action. I
No,
guess,
just that
for a
like
while.
somehow like side characters that never had a personality or a line even were more interesting.
Some of
than
them
the
didn't
main
even have a word.
characters
Like
at
the guy who
points.
ended up killing himself, like blowing up the tunnels just to
Oh yeah.
fuck up the enemy.
That was
like,
another one where I was like, this feels like it's supposed to have weight or something.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know who this guy is. He never talked. He didn't say a single word, but I'm more invested in him, his sacrifice than everyone else.
But
Why?
yeah, I think that's about our rating, and that about wraps it up. I think we liked it slightly more than the first, only because it was shorter though.
I rate it 1 bag of grain of a wheat field.
Better than the first.
1 grain.
1 grain better.
A 1 grain bag out of a field of grain field. Because
That is
We-
not much though.
just wait until the next movie. We'll have more grain for you, Zach. Zach's just fucking wait. Wait. Next movie, we're gonna have a farming section
Do
of.
you think this is gonna be like a bit like a hit, or do you think this is gonna fail though?
It's gonna fail, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at it says on IMDb right here the popularity. It's the 191st most popular TV show or movie right now. That is not good for it just releasing.
Everyone's hate watching, bro. It's hate watching.
And it said it was at 234 like yesterday.
Oh my god.
So it is not very high. You'd think if it was popular it'd be in the top at least 100. So yeah, I hope it fails cuz like we said we deserve better and this is just we could probably have had 30 minutes less if you took out all the slow mo, just like the first one, and the
Oh my god.
and the Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I actually liked. It's just like get rid of that shit, or at least use it effectively.
Yeah, if you're gonna
I'm
use
sick
slow
of
mo,
it.
doing it during cool scene. Instead we got an entire wheat montage that was in slow mo.
Oh
The
my
whole wheat
God.
harvesting was slow mo. Him getting a water from in a canteen was slow mo for some
It
reason.
was just giving me headaches at points.
It's just annoying. I'm like, I don't want to stop it, Zach. It's like you said. Remember, didn't you say he like he bought out like
yeah.
land and he was,
Yeah.
and that's probably the reason.
That's what I
like,
heard.
He literally he was like, we're gonna grow the wheat and legitimately harvest it.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna get my money's worth out of
these
this.
movies could have came out like a year sooner, but I guess Zack Snyder actually bought out like a huge area of land to plant
Actually
wheat and
harvest.
everything.
Actual
And
harvesting.
they were like, we
fucking
can't
simulator.
plant it right now. It's not in season, or it's not a good time for it, or whatever. And he's like, I'll wait. This is super important to the movie.
It's gonna be like 15 to 20 minutes of wheat harvesting in slow mo, guys. Don't you love that shit? No.
So yeah, if you're into that, watch out for Rebel Moon Part 2 on Netflix.
Pose, you deserve better. And Zach, you can do better.
You can do better.
You can do better,
Zack
Zach.
Snyder's
Come
Justice League was actually really good.
on. What happened?
So-
What happened to you, Zach?
Hopefully I hear better things about the Snyder cuts, but I don't think I'll be able to watch them after how bad this fucking shit was.
Oh my god.
But thank you for tuning in, Pose. As always, follow Two Pose in a Pod on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and any of the other social media pretty much stuff we're on, which is like everything. And also follow Grilled TV.
Grilled TV.
Grilled.
Don't forget the shout out to the Omnicast, of course.
And our buddies at Omnicast. Good old Stan Lee.
Actually, anyway,
But we always have quality content to deliver.
aye.
But
But
we'll see you on the next one, the big 420 special.
420 special.
Oh, we're going to be getting fried. Can't wait.